Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the newest social media to be joining the online world. I don't know if you guys know anything about this, but today we're going to be talking about Truth Social, which is actually Donald Trump's very own social media platform that is coming out. Well, I shouldn't even say is coming out, it has come out now. And it's been rumored slash in the works for a long time, right? Like I remember it's been pretty much like a year and a half at least now, since this whole thing really kind of started, but there's been like this, I guess, exodus of Republicans and people on the right from social medias like Twitter and Facebook for what they call social media censorship. They make the claim that these big tech companies are basically suppressing them due to their political beliefs and the opinions that they share, because the opinions that they state aren't within, like, I guess, the public popular belief in some of these instances, and because of that they believe that they have been discriminated against, and they believe that they've been suppressed and basically censored on mainstream social media. And so Truth Social is supposed to be one of the answers to this problem. There's been multiple other platforms that have come out like this, especially in the last year or so. I remember, we've had like things like Parler show up, right? Or the Getter, that was one of them. I tried that one. I wasn't a really big fan of it. I got on it like twice and never got back on. And Truth Social is the newest answer to this entire thing. From my understanding of it, it is kind of like being publicly faced by a guy named Devin Nunes. He actually is the one who's kind of answering for some of the stuff that's going on in this situation. So we're going to be talking about this and whether or not this is going to be the next massive social media. Are we talking about a new Facebook, a new Twitter, a new Snapchat, a new YouTube? What's going on here? Is Truth Social going to be the answer? Is it going to be the truth to the question of whether or not you can avoid social media censorship in modern society? So I don't know if you guys know about this or not or remember, but Donald Trump was basically banned from all of the major social media platforms around the world right as he was kind of exiting his presidency, pretty much after like the January 6th Capitol riot, if I remember properly, which means he's not allowed to have, like, I think it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, pretty much like every major social media platform, right? And Trump and his camp of supporters have had a pretty public beef with a lot of these social medias, right? Because of the things that have been done. For instance, I remember people were mad because Twitter was like putting the little info bubbles under Donald Trump's tweets back when he was president, and it would say things like, oh, this is the fact-checked thing or whatever. So like if he said something about COVID and, it wasn't like, I guess, directly what the CDC or whatever said, they would basically go through and they put this little like info bubble under the tweet that says, this could be misleading, here's, our independent fact-checked whatever happened thing. And Donald Trump didn't like that, and a lot of Republicans and people in these camps didn't like that, so there was a bunch of talks on what was going to happen. I remember, they were going to try and target Section 230 to get some of these protections that social media platforms use basically revoked so that they could be targeted. Then we had things like Trump with his beef with TikTok, where he was literally trying to get it pretty much banned in the United States. A judge ended up overruling that, and so now here we are. We're now in the Truth Social era, right? So my personal experience with these types of social medias, and when I mean these types of social medias, I primarily mean these quote-unquote free speech alternative platforms where, it's basically supposed to be like the new version of YouTube, but they don't censor you, or the new version of Twitter, but you can say whatever you want. I've noticed that the only people really using them are people who lean to the right, and I'm not saying that as like an attack against people who are like Republican or have beliefs like this, but those seem to be really the only camp of people who have used a lot of these alt-tech websites because they feel like they and the people they support have been censored and whatnot. So it doesn't really end up with the same social media feel, and that's what I worry could be the real problem with this Truth Social app and whatnot here. It gets to the point where it's almost like an echo chamber in a way, and I know that this is going to make people mad to hear, but I mean, you could literally look at most of these websites and you're not going to see a lot of people who are outside of these camps, right? That are outside of the Republican Party, that are outside of, Republican ideas and support. So you're not going to see very many people from like different groups, I guess. So for me, the social media experience of it is pretty watered down. Then on top of that, some of them have had some pretty insane restrictions on what you can say in the first place, right? I mean, I remember with like Getter, there was a bunch of YouTubers. It was like, I think Augie, Nicholas Diorio, and Boblax, if you know those guys in the commentary community. They put out a tweet. Basically, one of them said that they couldn't even sign up for a Getter account because when they went to try to claim their username on the website, website, somebody had already taken it and was basically just spamming like the N-word and like making racist jokes and comments and stuff like that, which of course, if they claimed the account in the first place, you can't take it, but that also probably would get the handle banned. But this is a free speech platform, so if it doesn't get banned, it's taken, and someone's just basically making you look bad or whatever, right? So, but Trump Social has launched, and it's actually gone pretty viral off the jump, right? In fact, it's actually the number 4 trending topic on Twitter as of right now, which to me is kind of weird because literally a competitor to Twitter is now the number 4 trending tweet, you know, in the entire world, from what I understand. So, not really in Twitter's best interest to have that trending. I thought that they curated the trending tab, and I would have thought that that probably got removed because it's literally a product from someone that the website's banned. So I was kind of surprised that they allowed that. But Truth Social has been extremely popular so far. In fact, it's so popular that it's actually causing issues for the platform, and let's talk about that. So, Truth Social is currently the number 1 free app on the App Store for iPhone right now, which is a pretty incredible feat considering it only came out like 12 hours ago. To go all the way to number 1 on the free apps as the trending apps on the Apple Store within 12 hours, that's pretty impressive, especially when in all reality, like the person behind this is pretty much like ostracized from the rest of social media and from the rest of the internet. And so, with all of this popularity, with all of this excitement kind of building up for this app, it's actually caused some pretty massive issues with the platform. So within 3 hours or so, right, Truth Social ended up getting so many new people trying to register for the app/website at the same time that it actually created this massive tens of thousands of people deep waitlist. I don't know exactly what the issue behind that was. I don't know if they just didn't have enough server and processing capacity to get all these people registered at the same time. I don't know if the technology is just outdated. I would hope not, because obviously, you know, Trump is like super rich apparently, and if he's going to invest in this platform, I would hope that he'd invest in it the right way, because if you're building a social media platform like this, it's kind of hard to have issues like this, right? Because this could be the one and only time someone tries to sign up for your website. If someone tries to, you know, sign up for Facebook, right, like just for an example here, and instead of just like letting them create the account, sign in, and start using it, if it put them in an 85,000 person deep waitlist, there's a pretty good chance that person might just close the web page and never come back, right? That's actually a problem that you deal with in like marketing and stuff like that, right? So this is good and bad news, okay? Obviously, it's good news because this means there is a crowd of people that are trying to use the website for them, right? So it's not like they don't have an audience. They do have people trying to get on board with everything. And keep in mind, this is also an app that launched apparently just before midnight Eastern time. And considering obviously Trump was president of the United States, the app's, I guess, main audience is Americans. That's pretty late at night, because even on the West Coast, that's like 9 p.m., right? So while launching late at night, they ended up building all of this massive speculation, and they have all these people wanting to join. But I mean, once again, it's kind of a bad thing if your website can't handle this kind of thing, right? So it's not like this is some just one-off website no one's going to use, right? And a lot of these alt-tech websites have actually been seeing pretty decent growth, right? So, but Optimus, bro, are you gonna use Truth Social? Are you joining the online revolution, bro? Are you joining the alt-tech movement here? Well, I know a lot of people, right, they have like this kind of inherent dislike, I guess, for alt-tech or the alt-tech websites that have kind of become popular and whatnot, and that's because perhaps they have a different political view base than the people who are actually kind of like pushing this movement, because let's be honest, the vast majority of people pushing the alt-tech websites and stuff like that are right-wing. But that's not really the case for me, okay? I really don't care about, you know, the political thing, right? That's not the big deal for me here. I mean, I do have my own personal political beliefs and everything, but it's not enough to determine whether or not I join a website, right? So honestly, I am pretty open-minded when it comes to alt-tech. For instance, you know, I used to like think there was no real good like websites out there in the alt-tech scene. Recently, I've kind of found that Odyssey is pretty decent, at least as like a YouTube alternative. I mean, I don't think it has the user base for like a long-term like competitiveness, I guess, for YouTube, but the concept is pretty cool in my opinion. So, I mean, Odyssey is one that I would almost endorse. I think it still has a lot of, you know, kinks to work out and everything. So it's not really a political thing, but it's more or less because to me personally, most of these alt-tech websites are just pretty unusable. Like I joined Getter and I used it like twice, but the only thing that really was on the website was like right-wing political pundits and like their supporters and a couple of like Republican congressmen and women. There wasn't really much going else for it. For instance, like YouTube, the reason it's so usable and viable to me isn't because it's my job, but it's because it's user-created content that I happen to enjoy, right? Like, I enjoy watching these people's videos, and they upload regularly, so I have a reason to come back all the time. On Twitter, it's a completely toxic cesspool, but I mean, I get a lot of content from that, and also, there's a lot of funny shit that gets posted on there as well. For TikTok, I mean, it's got a lot of cringe, it's got a lot of ridiculous shit, and it's got some questionable intentions sometimes, but there's also funny shit on there. Nobody was really being funny or posting any intriguing content for me personally on these alt-tech websites, and that's really what the problem comes down to. It's like, they focus so hard on like the political censorship issue with these other things that they almost forget, in my opinion, to develop like a full-on social media platform. They don't really bring the content, the ideas, the infrastructure, the community, really anything that all of these other mainstream social outlets have, right? That actually make them viable. If this is something that Truth Social can address, and it can become more than just like almost like a political protest in a way, that would make this website a lot more usable for me personally. But with the technological issues, with the issues of wondering what is going to be on there for me, I don't think I'm going to be a day one adopter of Truth Social. I think if anything, I'm going to kind of wait it out, see what happens, see what they do with it. And if they make some good decisions and they start building a community with it and making it a full-out social media, I may reconsider. But until then, I'm going to be a little skeptical on what exactly it is and what's going on. But I think that it has potential because they have the user base, and that's one of the massive things about social media that you need in order to build up from. You have to have people on the website, not only to give like user feedback and whatnot, but also to even have any incentive to make the product. If you can't get people to sign up, basically, like, what exactly are you doing all this for, you know? And that's obviously not an issue that Truth Social's having, as it's actually so good at getting people to sign up that it's crashing the technology behind the site. So I don't know, man, we're gonna have to see what happens with it. If you've used Truth Social and you have any sort of experience you'd like to share with it, go ahead and share it down below in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Facebook at Optimus. Over on Facebook, I post daily exclusive content just like this. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below as well. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about Donald Trump's new social media, Truth Social, and signing out.